Greetings, YouTube. I did my first Battlegrounds match of the weekend and had some of the best luck I've had. Maybe I should say skill, but I don't know. I feel some level of guilt, and maybe I shouldn't, but I feel some level of guilt when I win Battlegrounds because when I lose, I say, okay, everybody's right. I'm not that good. And then when I win, I think everybody's right. I just have a roster that's way better than I should because of my YouTube channel revenue. And I should tell myself that's because you've made over 13,000 videos in your career, and that takes a lot of work. And even if you just look into a camera and you talk about the weather for 13,000 times, which would be a horrible concept for a YouTube channel, that's still 13,000 videos you have to create. It's not like somebody's just handing you this revenue and you're doing nothing. But at the same time, Battlegrounds, especially in this meta, which I think is fair but annoying. That's how I would say. It's fair but annoying. In this meta, I have learned so much about what I think is the future of the game. And there have been a couple people who have noticed it based off their bans. But this Gilly Fat Stacks, this is Fire Guy. He is somebody who has a great roster, chose some good matchups, but ultimately got, I guess you could say, at this one instance, outwitted by somebody that's the future of the game. So I'm going to claim, I guess, this first, but as you can see, it's the first match that I've done, hence 1 out of 3 in terms of complete 3 victory track or gladiator circuit. I still think that the best thing about this is that you can lose every single match, every single week. Now, for your morale, for your mental health, I wouldn't recommend that. But in general, you could go on a 12-match losing streak, for example. I have a friend that told me recently he had lost 12 Battlegrounds matches in a row and was a pretty dark place in the game. But if you space those out over the course of, I guess you could say 8 days, because they refresh every 48 hours, you still get, even losing 12 in a row, 2,400 guaranteed trophy tokens. And that is good for a ton of Tier 4 Class Catalyst selectors, or at least a few 6-star generic 6 stones. Or if you want to save up for the biggie and go like 10,000 goal, you can still have a chance to do something really amazing with saving up for rank 4 materials. But round 1, I hate fighting Bishop. I think most people hate fighting Bishop. Cosmic Ghost Rider is my preferred Bishop fighter because of the Incinerate immunity, but he didn't pop up on my matchups. So I ended up using Hercules, knowing I was probably going to get to his Awakened ability before the match ended. I didn't, but because he put Bishop as a defender, this was the big mistake. He didn't have anyone to go up against Korg, so he chose Hulkling, which I thought that's a pretty bold choice. And then obviously ended up, I guess I should hide my webcam for this, ended up not having the best of fights, and it's a very long fight. And then round 2 is the purpose of this video today, because round 2, I hate fighting Rentra. But I have spent so much in terms of resources and sig stones before now, because my Falcon's been max sig for a while, when sig stones and even rank up materials are just free falling down in terms of value because they're making way for rank 3 7-star materials pretty soon. And as you can see, I did very well. That's the best fight I've ever had against Rentra. And Falcon eventually just turned off the protection node even when he was not active with his lock-on Awakened ability. It still never came back, and so it became a kind of relaxing fight, which I think is shocking to say against Rentra, because normally that's not my definition of relaxing, even if I'm using somebody like Red Hulk or OG Hulk, but Falcon did better than both of them. And you could say to a certain extent that Crossbones would too, and I do have him in my deck at Sig 200 rank 4 as well. Falcon is, along with Kingpin, the next 2 targeted champions for rank 5 status. And I don't know how many people out there are thinking about taking their Falcon to rank 5 eventually, but that's part of the purpose of this video. And I think Kabam knows that Falcon is the future of the game. Obviously, they're still very much against having Quake be a 6-star, at least as far as we know. But Falcon does in some ways, utility-wise, what I love about Quake, and that's that he shuts down really annoying defender utility at ease. And I also just find him super easy to play, especially when he's awakened, and obviously the higher the SIG, the better. The reason why I say he's the future of the game is largely because the 7-star and the Titan pool are rare, right? Very few champions in this. But Crossbones is in this, and we know he does the same thing. And for the 7-star pool, Falcon is in that. So I do think Kabam wants Falcon and to a certain extent Crossbones as the future of the game, because it also is going to take so much money to get them to where you want them to be as 7-stars with 6-stars. And that's why for a long time, until they introduce 7-star 6 stones and 7-star awakening gems, and you know that those are going to be crazy expensive, and for good reason, because 6-stars were for a long time. Just think about how expensive it was to explore the Abyss when it first came out, and how valuable that generic 6-star awakening gem was to the few people who could do it and afford it. And now you can get that for free in a side quest, sometimes multiple times a month. So it's amazing how much that value has fallen. It's kind of unprecedented how much that value has fallen. But we should be thankful for it as a community to be able to get that for free versus spending a bunch of money and time and units. So I think Falcon and Crossbones are the future of the game. I definitely want to include Crossbones in that. But I'm going to say Falcon for this specific video because 7-stars are so much easier to open than 7-star Titan Crystals. Titan Crystals are just going to be crazy expensive. And so the odds of opening them at all are almost zero for even high-spin summoners. And 7-stars are still, obviously, a trek to open, but much more manageable right now than Titan Crystals. So Falcon's the future of the game, future of Battlegrounds. I still am really exhausted by this month's Battlegrounds. I appreciate that I've talked to some friends of mine who are much better at the game than I am. And they still are saying that even they right now are just exhausted going through Battlegrounds. It's like hard to talk yourself into doing it, but you still do it. But it's not fun. And I think part of that is the meta, and part of that is that the matchmaking system's gotten better. So in previous months, if you had a whale roster, you could kind of just melt through most of the competition. But Kabam now is putting whale roster against whale roster, and that's how it should be. I get that. But when you're used to fighting somebody who's Paragon, but they have maybe a couple of rank 5s, and now you're Paragon and they have like 10 rank 5s or more, and multiple rank 2 7-stars, and you're fighting people who have all the new champs like Kindred, it's just exhausting and not worth it, especially when you consider this thing. That I'm using my trophy tokens 100% for alpha basic bundle materials, for tier 3 alpha and tier 6 basic, and if I just want to budget the money I spend on this game now more toward this offer, I could not do Battlegrounds at all, or not care at all about Battlegrounds and just do the 3-fight minimum, which I'm still doing right now, and still come out more ahead with faster rank ups than I could doing Battlegrounds every day with my skill set. So it's made me reevaluate a lot of things and hopefully turn it into a valuable tool for viewers and their time. With that, have a good one. Thanks for watching.